One of the extraordinary stories that I heard from Rav Ovadia, alav shalom, was that in Yeshivat Porat Yosef, there was a very unique gabbai in that yeshiva, who was a former businessman in Turkey, Jewish man. At the time, years ago, there used to be a huge community of Jews in Turkey. Many chachamim came from Turkey, and here this gabbai would tell the bachurim in the yeshiva about how he used to be a businessman. He was dealing with apparel and different fabrics, and he would get custom orders from different places, companies, and so on. And at one time they asked this gabbai, well, what's one thing that stands in your heart all the time? He says, every time I pray, I think about my business. But you're a gabbai at a beit knesset. You're a gabbai at a yeshiva. What are you thinking about the business that you had, 20 years ago, 15 years ago? Because no, you don't understand. You pray, I pray. We both pray. Your prayer is worth X amount, but you don't know how much. I know how much mine is worth. Explain. So this holy gabbai says, in Turkey, I was made sure that I always prayed on time. Prayer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with a minyan was priority. No question asked. Now, of course, you want to make parnasah, you want to make a living. Needless to say, if there's a big opportunity, but I never let that get in my way. But one day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent me a test. I'm in my factory, and in comes this very respectable sergeant. And he says to me, I am the sergeant of one of the sections of the army of Turkey. And I need to get new uniforms for the entire army. And I'd like to order from you. I said to him, but is it possible for you to wait 25 minutes for me to come back? And the sergeant looks at me funny. What? 25 minutes? You know how much? That's a lot of time. I need to go. What do you mean 25? I need to buy now, make it a big purchase. He said, I understand, but can you wait 25 minutes? Absolutely not. I cannot wait 25 minutes. Now or never. And the gabbai says to him, I'm sorry then. It would have to be never, because I have to go pray. The general got so upset with this Jew that he immediately walked out and dafka went to his competitor that was next door and ordered everything from him. The gabbai says, when I went to pray that night, I was smiling the whole way, because I knew that for the first time in my life, my prayer is worth a fortune. The fortune I just gave up. We're talking about a huge fortune for entire army uniforms. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not forget, did not let me down. Apparently in Shamayim, it was already written for me to get a certain amount of parnasah. The question is, option A or option B? Option A, by going after my desires, my ambitions, and thereby forsaking the Torah, chas v'shalom. Option B, sanctifying HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name, and thereby getting greater reward in this world and the next. And what ended up happening is that months passed, and eventually that same general came back into my factory. And this time his face was very different. This time he talked to me very differently, very respectfully. And he said, listen, I ordered from your competitor. His merchandise is very bad quality. I know that this is the place. I know that you have a good reputation for making good things. And I want to order the whole thing all over again. And this time, I'm going to give you much more than what I was willing to give you before. It almost ended up being 4 times as much. 4 times as much as what he was willing to pay me before. Meaning not only did this person ended up getting a fortune of money as a result of standing up for praying with the Minyan, going and standing up for Hashem, and not doing business and forsaking the Torah in the process. But even more so, he's literally one of the few people on planet Earth that ever knew how much money, how much reward each one of his prayers is worth. Because if you're willing to give up millions of dollars just for the sake of going and praying, that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to pay you for that prayer each time. Pay you for that prayer each time in an eternal world. So again, it's important for a person to be morally right when it comes to the law of the land, when it comes to the compliance and things of that nature. But more than anything else, always remember where that money is coming from and why. Another thought is what a person does with their money. What a person does with their money is important because, again, it tells a person who he is and what he feels about this money.